Hey guys, what's going on today? This is Dal Su, and we're coming around full circle today. Decided that it was about that time to sort of revert back to the game that seems to be one of the more popular ones on the channel, and a game which I really enjoy. It's one of the things I kind of started out YouTubing with, so I decided, why not? Let's do it again. It is Banished, and particularly Banished with the Colonial Charter Mod, which adds a whole lot of good business and is just in general a lot of fun, and has some cool flavor and art and models, and just expands the game more than anything else. I'm going to be using version 1.62, which is the most recent version as of now, July 2016. As far as I know, the people who make this at Black Liquid are kind of moving on to make their own fully fledged game. They did say that they were going to continue to work on Colonial Charter, but I'm really excited to see what these geniuses come out with. So anyway, that's what we're doing. And we are going to do Bayou conditions, because I've had that requested by some subscribers here. My town name is going to be La Croix. And it's going to be named La Croix because I'm currently trying to quit drinking alcohol for a little while. And so I'm drinking about 10 of these goddamn La Croix a day. It's like, for those of you who don't know, it's basically carbonated lemon water, which is a very poor substitute for beer, but whatever. I'm going to name it La Croix because of this thing that I love to hate here. We're going to go with Marsh terrain type, which fits in nicely with the Bayou start conditions. The terrain's going to be large. I thought about doing medium. I kind of played with the idea a little bit of doing medium, but I think I'm going to go with large. There's no reason I have to fill up the whole map. Sometimes I feel like I'm under pressure to fill up the whole map, but I'm not going to necessarily abide by that. So that's what we're going to do, large size. Tropical climate, which means no snow. It's going to affect our sort of crops that we can do and stuff like that. And disasters are going to be off. I turned disasters off not because I'm, trying to get an easier game. It's just disasters for me, all they do is set you back an episode. Like, you just have to spend a whole episode rebuilding everything that you destroyed. It's not much fun to play. It's not much fun to watch. So I'm going to turn those off. And I'm starting on Bayou conditions. Bayou conditions I've just experimented with just a little bit. They're very easy. I'm doing this because I'm from Louisiana, and someone has requested that since I'm from Louisiana, I should start with Bayou conditions in order to sort of, I guess, be thematically consistent or whatever. So that's what we're going to do. And the start condition is pretty easy. You start off with a few buildings and some good goodies and stuff like that. So that's what the hell we're going to do. Let's jump right into it. And I'm going to be focusing more on this playthrough to try to go for sort of aesthetics. Usually I just pretty much ignore aesthetics entirely, and I go straight for whatever I think the practical need is. Yes, I'm just that kind of macho guy. I don't really care so much about how beautiful it looks or whatever. But this time, I think I'm going to pay a little bit of attention to that because that's just something that is kind of fun to do, to try to make it sort of pretty. Let's pause it here and kind of take stock. So we start with a few things in Bayou start conditions. They're pretty easy start conditions, really. We start off with a large dock storage, and this is a little bit weird that the dock buildings can be placed on dry ground. I wasn't really aware that that was the case until I kind of started playing around with these. So let's see. Dock shanty. Yeah, all these things can actually be placed. Water shrine. They can actually be placed on the ground as well. So in order to kind of maybe have our aesthetic goals reached, we might kind of stick to this menu a little bit. Obviously, we're going to have to do some other things. I don't think these can be upgraded a whole hell of a lot. Yeah, they can. Okay, dock house. I don't know what the chain goes to after that. I guess we'll kind of see as we go along. Anyway, we start out with some firewood, with some stone, with some iron. So yeah, these are pretty good start conditions, I would say. Okay, these are the dock homes, actually, so they're nicer than the dock shanties. And they can actually be upgraded again to a dock residence. So this is really cool. And this is all from the mod, by the way. I don't think any of this is like vanilla Banished. But let's get started by looking at the map a little bit and deciding kind of what we want to do here. Obviously, we're going to be going after food. It's just kind of always the first priority in Banished. But yeah, so this map is like just a bunch of little ponds with kind of very... there's very few like wide open spaces, which is gonna kind of make our play style a little bit different. Like, for example, we might have to rely pretty heavily on fishing because there's not a lot of, like, open ground for major agriculture. There's some over here. On the other hand, everything's kind of flat, which is pretty sweet because I was planning on not using the power flattening tool any because it's cheap. And I think I'll stick with that resolution. I know I sometimes go back on like a little hill right here. Anyway, the whole map is like surrounded by hills, which is quite interesting. So yeah, I'm digging this. It's gonna, yeah, like I said, it's gonna change our play style just a little bit to have so little open land. Let's kind of get our screen where we want it here. We want event log. Usually put it somewhere down here. This is the kind of general overview. I don't usually leave the mini-map open. And one more thing is profession lists. We want that to be sort of available for us. Alright, so right now we have 12 people. They're all laborers. And I think we're probably going to start off with some fishing. What do you guys think about that? Now, I was going to say we could do the sort of dock fishery, which I think it might be a little bit better. Let's see. We have sort of dock fisheries. And they have that much sort of area that they can fish in. And it's much better to have this whole area be, you know, surrounded by water. So the reason that these are kind of superior is because you stick them out here and then they're 360 degrees of water, whereas if you just do sort of the regular dock, which is, let me see if I can remember, it's going to be here, you're kind of, you have to put it on the shore. So you have to put it like right here, and already half of our radius is on land, and obviously you can't fish on the land. I don't know if any of you guys have ever tried that. It doesn't work out. So let's see. I'm thinking probably go with the other one. Also, this one requires stone, which I have. I have 150 logs. I need to get started with some log chopping as well. We have enough around us to probably sustain us for the time being. We have enough of everything around us. There's some iron, there's some stone, there's some wood. But eventually we're definitely going to want a forester. Probably I'll put him somewhere up here because we might not expand up there for a little while. We have plenty of expansion room down here. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this is going to have to be a fishery out in the middle of here. However, in order to do that, as far as I know, we actually need to like build a walkway. And that's going to require some wood. So let's kind of get started on that. I think it should probably start about right here. That looks sort of natural. The thing I don't like about building these is it's very hard to see the like outline of it. In fact, I don't even think you can see the outline of it aside from like the red here, which like lets us know that something is there blocking our way. So it sort of makes it a little bit tricky to do. But let's start with just that. And I will have to make one person a builder. We have some coats too. These conditions are quite easy, and so coats are not going to be super important. We have some rice. Actually, you can do little rice farms out on the sort of on the water, which is pretty cool. Iron tools will require a blacksmith, so we will have to do some mining here. I don't know how that's going to work because a lot of the mines, I think it might just be the iron mine that requires you build it on sort of the side of a hill. And I can't really do that because I don't have any hills. Let's see. This is just a mine. Yeah, you can mine iron. But I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it actually requires that you put it on the side of a hill. There may be another way though. Yeah. This one, okay, so this one you can actually do anywhere. And that'll work just fine. So we'll be doing that eventually. Right now we have a lot of homeless people, unfortunately. Some of these people are sort of claiming entire houses with just one person. So we're going to need a house or two. Looks like they finished that already. Well, they got to finish this little bit. But it is going to suck if we sort of run out of wood. So let's go ahead and assign some people to chop wood. How much do we have left? 126. Okay. Let's harvest some trees, shall we? Just start off with these. These are mighty close by. Should be easy for you guys to do. You guys will notice I have a very bad habit, and this is a habit I've tried to break so many times. But I have a tendency to kind of close menus, especially when I'm doing Let's Plays. So, like, let's leave this menu open here, and if I accidentally close it again, you just have to prepare yourself for that. I know it's a horrible thing when a Let's Player doesn't perform perfectly, but it happens. Okay, so we're gonna cut down these trees, continue to add to our sort of wood stockpile here, and then use that. It looks like everyone's got a house now, so maybe these people actually, yeah, so they invited some others. Maybe they got married or whatever to a 12-year-old. It happens. And yeah, so we've got a 13-year-old and a 19-year-old here. 13-year-old laborer. But yeah, we've only got one builder, and they're sort of doing everything, which is fine. We've got us a dock started, a little pier started anyway. And there are also things like you have to take into account, like this, yeah, there are some other kind of tiles that you need to be aware of. For example, this is for when your people are going to be turning a corner. Oftentimes they will actually go down into the water and then come back out. I guess just pathfinding restrictions being what they are. Stops the people from jumping down into water, right? Stair pieces, which go up and down. I think most of these are aesthetic things. They don't actually affect gameplay. This is key wall to dock connector. Stay dry corner piece. Let's kind of look at what's going on here. I know we have houses. We have markets. We have trading posts, of course. Schools, herb growers, herb menders. What is an herb mender? It's like a healer. You grow herbs, and you use the herbs. Okay. And then we have storage stuff. We have fuel storage. Wood storage. Different kinds of storage. Rice wine still. I like the sound of that. Water scavenger, dock fishery, chicken breeder. We already have chickens, don't we? There's like chickens around, or there were. Yeah, they're just kind of blending in for my color blindness there. But yeah, we have chickens. Okay, so that's good. How are those trees coming? We got all the trees cut down. Alright, we're 216 logs, which is fine. I think we're about ready to start work on this fishery. So let's pause the game here while we get it sort of the way we want it. It's going to be under here where I just was. Okay, so do we go a tiny bit further out? I think we're okay there, actually. Now let's go ahead and nail that down. Get ourselves started with some food. Because that rice is not going to last long. Alright, so I've got all these laborers now. I might as well use them. We still have some storage space. I probably need to go ahead and do a wood chopper. I'm going to assign another person to build so that we can get that fishery going. And then what we're probably going to have to do sort of right away is assign 4 fishermen to that. I think it's 4. And that means our... See, you know, I closed the damn menu again. Every time. Every time. Okay. What we want to do is sort of grow our population. We have some children who are going to grow up. We'll need to build a school to educate them before too long. But yeah, there's a lot to be done, really, especially in the beginning. But luckily, we're not in any real danger because of the start conditions being so lenient. I'm going to cut down these trees mostly just to have a better view of what's going on around here. I like how we have like a square in the middle. Eventually, I assume I'm going to be paving that square. there are different kinds of ways that you can beautify your squares. These are, yeah, sort of different tiles you can do. Brick. It doesn't seem to really cost anything. Swamp square. We're gonna have to go with swamp square, obviously. Is it instant? It is. It's instant. Okay, well, let's make ourselves a swamp square then, since it doesn't cost us anything. And I feel that's very appropriate. I wish there was a slightly larger setting. There's not. It's also a little bit offset from the mouse. This is just something we can work on while we're waiting for things to happen. Right now we're mostly waiting on the fishery, which looks like it's about halfway built. Is that right? Yeah. Well, it hasn't been built hardly at all. It's just gotten the wood delivered. Brings us down to about 200 wood. Yeah, let's keep going with Swamp Square. It actually looks kind of weird. I think it looks kind of weird. This is Marsh Square, which we already have all around us. You know, I might just have to go with, like, a nice brick. I mean, that's gonna look better. What about this? That looks kind of meh. Gravel. Uh-oh. Telling me I can't replace... I can replace it with brick for some reason. I can't replace whatever this is. What is that? That's Country Square, right? Alright, well, I guess Country Square it is if they're not going to allow me to override the Country Square. I'm going to have to probably just do the whole thing in Country Square. Anyways, we'll work on this as we go, like when we have time to kill. But I think there are more important things that need to be done now, so we'll sort of do about half of it, and then work on more pressing matters. That looks okay, I guess. I'll probably want to change it to something else later, but I'm not 100% sure I can even change it. I don't know, it looks kind of cool. We'll see how I feel about it. Alright, so our dock is now done. It only requires one. That is a huge advantage if he's actually going to be catching anywhere near the amount of fish that the normal dock fisherman does, then that is going to be awesome. Actually, I could turn it up to 4. Okay. I mean, we need at least a quarter of our population dedicated to food, so I'm going to create 4 fishermen. That's going to leave us with 8 laborers, 8 free people, and a pretty steady source of food. I doubt that this one dock is going to be able to sustain us, but they'll probably do for right now until we, you know, try to get our heads on straight here. And I think that's about it for the first episode, guys. We've sort of gotten ourselves established. We've gotten a dock ready. We have cleared some trees. I don't know. It's a pretty easy start. I'm not really worried about it. I think probably the next thing I will see to is maybe like a herb gatherer. Not an herb gatherer, but just a regular gatherer. Yeah, roots and berries are really nice to have, and you can also put this in the same area as you're going to put your forester, and they won't, you know, interfere with each other. So that's really nice. Also, hunting blinds. I mean, hunting blinds are a cheap, easy source of food. They don't produce all that much food, though. Tidal pools seem to be pretty good. And, you know, I don't see that many deer on here. I'm assuming that you can hunt here. Is that a deer? I don't know. It makes me nervous to invest a lot of resources into a hunting lodge that's not going to be able to hunt. The nice thing about the hunting lodge is you can put it in the same area as your as your herb gatherer and your forester. They don't, interfere with each other too much. I'm not seeing a lot of deer. Is that a... No, that's a bird. Okay, then. Well, we'll figure it out as we go. There's plenty of space to expand to, although it's interrupted everywhere by these pools. How we doing? We're bringing back some fish for supper, eh? 72 fish. I'll take it. Our rice seems to be holding up okay. We've got some mushrooms and ginger, blueberries. These are the kind of things that the gatherer will get for us. So yeah, I'm thinking forester and gatherer here to start. It's a little bit far away from everything, but that's okay. It's just sort of a nice way to start. Get your bases covered and stuff like that. Alright guys, well, that's the first episode. I really, really hope you enjoyed it, and I will be very, very pleased and happy if you would like and subscribe. I'm a small channel, but I'm growing, and I really, really enjoy doing this. So if this is your first video that you watched of me, I hope I didn't embarrass myself too much. But go ahead and click that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it, and there's a lot more content with other games and stuff like that for you to enjoy. So, without further ado, cheers with my La Croix. This is the shittiest cheers ever, and I'll hopefully see you on the next video. Bye.